history of Islam witnessed great leaders during the life of the Prophet Muhammad and after his passing, who had a significant impact in spreading the message of Allah and establishing the religion. Among these leaders was the esteemed companion and exceptional Islamic commander Khalid ibn al-Walid. May Allah be pleased with him. He was renowned for his valor and courage both before and after embracing Islam, to the extent that the Prophet honored him with a distinction that could be considered the most noble accolade in his entire life, saying about him, "the sword of Allah." However, individuals with doubts, who closed themselves off to the faith and fabricated falsehoods and baseless suspicions, focused their efforts around such great figures. They left no esteemed personality, prominent role model, or distinguished Islamic intellectual and social figure untouched by their deceit and slander. Among those targeted by some of these false suspicions was the esteemed companion Khalid ibn al-Walid. May Allah be pleased with him. Let's first discuss his background, lineage, and his role in conquests and victories, then address the doubts raised about him and provide a response. Introduction to Khalid ibn al-Walid. May Allah be pleased with him. Lineage and origin. He was the esteemed companion Khalid ibn al-Walid ibn al-Mughira, ibn Abdullah ibn Makhzum, ibn Yaqza ibn Mura, ibn Ka'b, ibn Lu'ay, ibn Ghalib, known as Abu Sulaiman. His mother was Lubaba bint al-Harith, the sister of al-Mu'mineen Maymuna bint al-Harith. The Prophet praised him, saying, "What an excellent servant of Allah is Khalid ibn al-Walid, a sword among the swords of Allah." He embraced Islam before the conquest of Mecca. His father was a notable figure among the Quraysh, known as the Eminence of Quraysh, and his lineage met that of the Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, at Murrah ibn Ka'b. Before his conversion to Islam, he harbored strong animosity towards the Islamic message and the Prophet, peace be upon him. Khalid ibn al-Walid was described as a shrewd military figure, a daring and adventurous leader in wars, with significant victories attributed to his courage, strategic acumen, clever tactics, organizational skills, and proficiency in execution. The role of Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah be pleased with him, in conquests and uplifting the word of Allah. Khalid embraced Islam after the age of 40, following a message conveyed by the Prophet through his brother. He accepted Islam in the 8th year of the Hijrah and went to the Prophet accompanied by Amr ibn al-As, may Allah be pleased with them both, declaring his Islam, which brought great joy to the Prophet's heart. After his conversion, Khalid participated in many decisive battles, including 5 major battles during the Prophet's lifetime, playing a prominent role and demonstrating exceptional leadership. He had a strong influence in stabilizing the Muslims and supporting them. For instance, in the Battle of Mu'tah, after the martyrdom of 3 leaders, he took command, skillfully preserving the Islamic army with a robust and clever strategy. He also played a crucial role in the conquest of Mecca, where the Prophet appointed Khalid as the leader of one of the 4 groups of the Islamic army, entering Mecca from the south towards the north, following the Prophet's instructions not to kill anyone except those who fought against them. Khalid, known as the Sword of Allah, fought alongside the Muslims in the Battle of Hunain, where he was at the forefront and sustained severe injuries. Despite his wounds, he continued to fight until victory was secured for the Muslims. The Prophet sent him on a secret mission to Aqidir ibn Abdul Malik, a Christian, where Khalid set up an ambush that led to capturing Aqidir as a prisoner. He was brought before the Prophet and was dealt with justly, eventually being released. These are some of the campaigns and battles in which Khalid, may Allah be pleased with him, participated during the Prophet's lifetime. He had a significant history of conquests and victories after the Prophet's era, during the caliphates of Abu Bakr and Umar, such as the conquest of Sham and Iraq under Umar's leadership. Misconceptions and fabrications regarding the dismissal of Khalid ibn al-Walid by Umar ibn al-Khattab. The critics and those harboring doubts, with their selective and superficial thinking, attempted to tarnish the image of esteemed figures in Islamic history. They failed in their attempts to discredit the noble personalities of our Islamic nation. Among those targeted with false accusations and defamation were the commander of the faithful, Umar ibn al-Khattab, and the Sword of Allah, Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah be pleased with them both. They faced slander and false accusations from detractors and skeptics who sought to tarnish their illustrious legacies. These individuals scrutinized the reasons behind Khalid's dismissal by Umar, attempting to attach baseless charges to these two great men. They presented narratives lacking in foundation and failed to withstand scrutiny under unbiased academic investigation. Here is the story of the dismissal of Khalid ibn al-Walid, presented truthfully without embellishment or distortion of facts. Khalid's dismissal occurred in two phases, each with its own objective reasons. First dismissal. Why did Umar ibn al-Khattab dismiss Khalid ibn al-Walid? Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, dismissed Khalid ibn al-Walid from overall command and governance of the princes in Syria for the first time in the 13th year of the Hijrah. This occurred the day after assuming the caliphate following the passing of Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him. This dismissal stemmed from the difference in approach between Abu Bakr and Umar in dealing with princes and governors. Abu Bakr's method involved giving autonomy to his workers and governors within the general framework of the state, conditioned on them ensuring complete justice among individuals and groups. He didn't interfere in the specifics of their governance without solid reasons. Umar sought to align Abu Bakr's governors with his own methods and beliefs. Some agreed while others resisted. Among those who resisted was Khalid ibn al-Walid, leading to his dismissal by Umar. When Umar assumed the caliphate, he aimed to align Abu Bakr's governors with his approach and conduct. While some agreed, others resisted. Khalid was among those who resisted, leading to his dismissal by Umar.
Second dismissal, the story of the second dismissal of the sword of Allah, Khalid ibn al-Walid, in the town of Kinasrin. The second dismissal of Khalid took place in the 17th year of the Hijrah, when it was reported to the Caliph that Khalid and Ayyad ibn Ghanm had conducted raids in the Roman territories, acquiring significant spoils. Individuals of prominence sought Khalid due to his reputation, including Ashath ibn Qais al-Kindi, to whom Khalid granted an allowance of 10,000. Umar, well informed about Khalid's activities, instructed his general, Abu Ubaidah, to investigate the source of the wealth from which Khalid granted Ashath such a generous allowance. Khalid was relieved of his military duties, summoned to the capital, interrogated in the presence of Abu Ubaidah, and the investigation was overseen by a representative of the caliphate. Khalid was eventually acquitted of misappropriating Muslim wealth, as he only allowed Ashath a share of the spoils. Upon learning of his dismissal, Khalid left Syria, expressing his disappointment, but his reaction was limited to verbal expressions of regret. He clarified to the people that he had been employed by the caliphate for the Sham campaigns until they were successfully concluded, following which he was dismissed. Umar issued a statement to the provinces clarifying that Khalid was not dismissed due to any wrongdoing or betrayal, but rather due to the fitna that arose due to him. This caused concern that people might rely on him and be tested through him. Umar wanted to ensure that people understood that Allah is the ultimate doer and that they should not be a source of trial for others. In the land of Sham, the land of jihad, specifically in Homs, in the 21st year of the Hijrah, Khalid, may Allah be pleased with him, fell critically ill. His final moments surrounded him after a remarkable journey of calling to Allah and engaging in jihad in his cause. Abu Darda entered Khalid's sick room, and Khalid said to him, "O Abu Darda, if Umar dies, you will witness things that you will disapprove of." Abu Darda replied, affirming Khalid's concern. Khalid reflected on his feelings towards Umar during his illness and realized that Umar always sought Allah's pleasure in his actions. Khalid recounted a specific incident where he felt Umar treated him differently from others who were present at the Battle of Badr. Despite his loyalty, Umar showed a level of severity towards Khalid that he did not exhibit towards others. Khalid observed Umar's indifference towards familial ties, leading Khalid to realize that Umar's actions differed from what he had expected. These realizations arose during his illness, prompting Khalid to express his thoughts. As Khalid approached his death, he wept and said, "There is no deed more cherished to me after La ilaha illallah than a night in severe cold, leading a secret raid of the emigrants, with the sky pouring down upon me, waiting for dawn to attack the disbelievers. Engage in jihad, for I have witnessed such and so many advances. There is not a handspan on my body that has not been struck by a sword, pierced by an arrow, or stabbed by a lance. Here I am, dying on my bed, my breath failing as a camel does. May the eyes of the cowards never sleep. I sought death in the thick of battle, but fate decreed that I die on my bed." Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah be pleased with him, was not an ordinary man, but a towering historical figure, an esteemed companion, and one of the men of Islam who laid the foundation for calling to Allah and spreading the message of monotheism on earth. They were among the great figures who propagated the religion according to the Quranic principles of jihad, interactions with non-Muslims, seeking the truth, defending it, combating falsehood, and fighting its proponents. After his conversion to Islam, he did not leave a battle or conquest during the time of the Prophet or the days of Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, except that he exerted himself greatly, emerging as a leader and victor with the strength of Allah, the determination of truth, and the ethics of the believers. As for the falsehoods and fabrications attributed to him, they are like foam that vanishes, as mentioned in the Quran. As for the foam, it vanishes, being cast off, but what benefits the people remains on the earth. Quran 13:17.